It's time to make some money with betting the Breeders' Cup presented by FanDuel. At least we're going to try and help you do so over the next 2 days. Juvenile Fillies Turf goes as race number 7, 1 mile over the turf course. Here are the morning line odds presented by FanDuel. And an outside post position for the Cherie DeVoe trainee. She Feels Pretty, your morning line favorite at 4-1. So lukewarm favoritism we're seeing in the Juvenile Fillies Turf. Brittany alongside Nick, we're going to lean on you for all of these turf races. What about Carla's Way? What do we make of this runner?
I think she's very talented, and she's really come to herself since she had a breathing operation earlier in the year, and she's less headstrong than she was. She's settled, and that helped her win the Rockville Stakes over 7/8 of a mile on Newmarket's stiff rolly mile, so she should get the extra furlong no problem. In addition, the runner-up and the third have run 1-2 in a Grade 1 subsequently, so the form has got a bit of ballast to it. I think she's the best of the Europeans. She might not be best of the whole lot, though.
Do you fear any of the Americans?
Oh, for sure. I think She Feels Pretty was superb last time. I thought it was a breakout performance. Cherie DeVoe, the trainer, has had a breakout year. I think this could be her Breeders' Cup, and I think She Feels Pretty is the one to beat.
Okay, let's see what our handicappers have to say. Edzo, Matt, how do we see the Juvenile Fillies Turf shaping up?
Well, Nick and Britt, we were together when She Feels Pretty up at Woodbine in Natalma, and you picked her at 8.5 of 1 or whatever, yeah. Right? That was a heck of a pick. You think going to be the favorite?
She's going to be close.
You do, huh?
Yeah.
Because of
the way that she ran, but more importantly, the field she beat up at Woodbine. Sure. It's been very, very strong. I think 5 next out winners coming out of that race. So it's hard for me to take her at 4 when I took her at 8 against Softer. Yeah, I just think this is a really good group of horses.
It's a wide open race, right? So you'd rather go for a higher priced horse, you would assume anyways.
A higher priced horse, and also a horse that I think still has more potential, more upside. I respect all the Europeans. Austere, to me, is the most interesting horse in the race because the form doesn't look great, the horses that she's beaten, but her run at Kentucky Downs, no matter how you chop it up, it was a fast race, and you're going to get every bit of that 12-1.
I thought Life's an Audible was interesting on the fact of a speed and fade in last. If they do happen to go quick, maybe can pick up the pieces. And then you heard Nick and Britt talking about Carla's Way. So, again, we've talked a lot about it, Maddie, over the years. Not one of my strengths for sure, but I think that if you think that there is a possible meltdown of any sort, you could be looking at boxcars.
Well, and Nick, we haven't mentioned horses like Buku. We haven't mentioned Porta Fortuna. I mean, these are all legitimate runners in here, hard to justify for Chad Brown. This is a race that genuinely you could go 8 deep and still not have the winner.
I don't have a problem with 4-1, by the way, just for the record. He does, I don't.
I think 4-1's a fine price.
I do too.
About this filly. I know she's outside.
If you were saying 4-5, that would be a different story.
It's such a hard race, though. I think with the Breeders' Cup, the last thing you want to do is shortchange yourself and say, I like her 4-1. Against this kind of field, maybe I'm being greedy.
Hey, you bet 2,000, you get 10 back. That's a pretty good gig.
You're going to float me alone for $2,000?
Sure, I'll float it for you. Sure. Partners, right? Partners.
Float all of us for $2,000. That sounds great. What sounds great? Making some money on this race. You can do so in the FanDuel Sportsbook, the only sportsbook app where you can bet the Breeders' Cup. And right now, new customers can get a new sweat win bet up to $200. So download the FanDuel app and bet the Breeders' Cup today. Time to make some money.